The serene landscape of the Theron Academy, nestled on a peaceful colony planet of Eridani, belied the potential for chaos that loomed in the distant stars. The Academy, renowned for its blend of ancient wisdom and cutting-edge technology, stood as a beacon of human achievement in the outer territories. Today, the usual hum of scholarly pursuits was overshadowed by an ominous silence that hung in the air like a heavy curtain. As dusk fell, the sky suddenly erupted in violent hues of crimson and orange. Starships of unknown origin pierced the atmosphere, their hulls etched with symbols of a long-forgotten enemy, the Zoltraxians. These alien invaders, known for their merciless assaults on fledgling colonies, had somehow discovered Earth's hidden gem. In the Academy's central atrium, students and faculty gathered, their eyes wide with fear and uncertainty. Among them, Professor Helena Mirek, an expert in xenobiology and ancient human lore, took a determined step forward. Her voice, usually calm and measured, carried a hint of something new, resolve mixed with a deep-seated fear. "Everyone, please stay calm. We have protocols for this," Helena instructed, though her glance towards the darkening sky betrayed her worry. As the first blasts rocked the Academy's shields, the ground beneath them trembled, not just from the force of the attack, but from something far more ancient and powerful. Deep beneath the Academy's oldest building, a chamber sealed since the time humans first ventured into the stars stirred to life. Helena led a small group of trusted colleagues through the labyrinthine corridors to a forgotten part of the campus. The walls here were lined with carvings that told tales of Earth's early days when humanity was young and vulnerable, a time when mythical beings walked among them. "These are the Juggernauts," Helena explained, her flashlight illuminating the large, bas-relief figures that looked both majestic and terrifying. Ancient guardians, awakened only in mankind's direst need. The group reached a vault, its door inscribed with archaic symbols that glowed faintly under their touch. With a series of precise gestures, Helena activated the ancient mechanism. The door groaned open, revealing a cavernous hall where 5 colossal figures stood enshrouded in shadows. "These beings are not just myths," Helena whispered, almost to herself. "They are the epitome of our survival instinct, crafted from technologies we no longer understand and imbued with a fierce protective spirit." The figures, towering and clad in armor that seemed to absorb the dim light, remained still as statues. Each juggernaut was a fusion of organic and synthetic elements, their features both human and eerily alien. Helena approached the central figure, its armor more elaborate than the others, and placed her hand on the cold metallic surface. "We need you now, guardians of humanity," she said, her voice a mix of command and plea. The chamber vibrated with a deep hum as ancient energy stirred. The Juggernaut's eyes flickered to life, casting a powerful glow that filled the room. The air crackled with power as these mighty protectors synchronized with the heartbeat of their creators, humanity. Outside, the Zoltraxians pressed their attack, confident in their superiority. But as the Juggernauts began to awaken, a new chapter in the history of human resilience was about to be written. Helena and her team watched in awe and silent terror as the Juggernauts took their first thunderous steps towards the battlefield, the very ground shaking with each stride. The fight for the Theron Academy was not just a battle for survival. It was a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity, guarded by its most fearsome creations. As the ancient Juggernauts marched towards the fray, their steps resonant and imposing, the night air was charged with an electric tension. The Zoltraxians, momentarily taken aback by the sudden appearance of these titanic defenders, quickly regrouped, their war cries slicing through the chaos of the battlefield. On the front line, the first of the Juggernauts, known as Sentinel Prime, raised its massive arm, revealing a weapon that seemed to be forged from the very stars themselves. A cannon emitting a radiant, pulsating energy with a roar that echoed across the valley. Sentinel Prime unleashed a torrent of blinding light towards the invaders. The ground where the beam struck exploded in a brilliant display of power, sending shockwaves that knocked several Zoltraxian fighters off their feet. Back at the Academy, Helena Mirek watched the battle unfold through a high-powered scope, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and pride. "Record everything," she instructed a young tech officer beside her. "Every detail could be crucial for future defenses." The Juggernauts, though ancient, adapted quickly to the modern battlefield. Their movements, while deliberate and heavy, were incredibly precise. Each strike was calculated to cause maximum disruption, breaking the enemy lines and sowing confusion. Meanwhile, the students and faculty of Theron Academy weren't idle. Under Helena's guidance, they operated drones and defense systems, targeting the Zoltraxian ships that loomed overhead. The synergy between human ingenuity and the raw power of the Juggernauts was a formidable force, and slowly, the tide began to turn. In the midst of the chaos, a young student named Eli, specialized in ancient technology, approached Helena with the device in his hands. "Professor, I think this can enhance the Juggernauts' connectivity. It's based on the old tech theories we studied last semester." Helena glanced at the device, a compact module with intricate circuitry. "Do it, Eli. Every edge counts," she said, giving him a nod of approval. Eli dashed through the tumult, dodging debris and blasts, until he reached the nearest Juggernaut. Climbing onto the giant's leg, he installed the module near what he guessed was the neural interface. The effect was immediate. The Juggernaut's eyes flared brighter, and its movements became even more fluid and responsive. Above, the Zoltraxian commander, observing the unexpected resistance, snarled in frustration. "Focus the fire on those behemoths. Bring them down," he ordered, pointing towards the Juggernauts. The next wave of attacks was brutal. Energy blasts rained down, creating craters in the once pristine Academy grounds. Sentinel Prime took a direct hit, its armor smoking and sizzling under the assault. Yet, it stood firm, its retaliatory strike dismantling a Zoltraxian warship with unerring accuracy. As the battle raged, Helena felt a profound connection to these ancient protectors. She realized that the Juggernauts were not just weapons. They were embodiments of human resilience, protectors not only of their present, but also guardians of their past. As dawn approached, with the sky streaked with the first light, the battle reached its climax. The Juggernauts, now fully synchronized and more powerful with Eli's enhancements, prepared for a final stand. The Zoltraxians, though relentless, began to falter under the sustained onslaught. Helena, standing amidst her students and colleagues, knew that this battle would be remembered, not just as a fight for survival, but as a declaration of humanity's enduring spirit and its unwillingness to yield to tyranny. The Juggernauts, those ancient and terrifying beings, were not just the past. They were the future, unyielding and magnificent. As the early morning sun cast its first gentle rays over the ravaged grounds of Theron Academy, the air was thick with the scent of ionized energy and scorched earth. The battle had raged through the night, pushing both the defenders and the invaders to their limits. But as the dust began to settle, it was clear that the Juggernauts were turning the tide in favor of humanity. In the command center, now a makeshift bunker, Helena and her team monitored the status of each Juggernaut. The ancient beings, despite their age and the initial uncertainty about their capabilities, had performed beyond expectations. However, the continuous assault was taking its toll. Sentinel Prime, the leader of the Juggernauts, showed signs of significant wear. Its movements were slower, and occasionally it staggered under the relentless Zoltraxian fire. "Eli, can you do another sweep? Check the integration circuits you installed," Helena asked, her voice calm, yet carrying an urgency that echoed her concern for the ancient protectors. Eli, his face smeared with dirt and sweat, nodded and grabbed his diagnostic tools. As he approached Sentinel Prime, he couldn't help but feel a mix of awe and fear. The Juggernaut towered over him, a silent, imposing guardian that seemed both in and out of time. Using a portable lift, Eli ascended to the chest cavity of Sentinel Prime, where the heart of the Juggernaut, its core power source, was located. As he opened the maintenance hatch, a warm, pulsating light enveloped him. The core was not just a mechanical device. It was alive, thrumming with an energy that felt ancient and profoundly connected to the very essence of the universe. Suddenly, the ground shook violently, knocking Eli off his feet. A new wave of Zoltraxian attackers had launched a desperate offensive, focusing their energy weapons on the weakened Juggernaut. Sentinel Prime roared, a deep, resonant sound that vibrated through the air, and retaliated with a powerful blast from its arm cannon. its aim unwavering despite the damage it had sustained. Back at the command center, Helena watched the scene unfold with bated breath. "We need to reinforce their shields," she exclaimed, turning to her team. "Is there any way to boost their defensive systems?" A young engineer, Liza, stepped forward. "There might be a way. If we reroute the secondary power conduits to augment the shield generators, it could give them enough strength to withstand the attacks." "Do it," Helena replied without hesitation. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, the Juggernauts continued their relentless defense. Each step they took left a mark on the land. Each blow they dealt to the enemy was a testament to their enduring strength. But it was more than just a physical battle. It was a clash of wills, of survival against annihilation. Eli, having stabilized the core, now worked alongside Liza to implement the shield enhancements. As they adjusted the settings, the Juggernauts' armor began to glow with a new intensity, the light weaving intricate patterns across their metallic surfaces. The Zoltraxians, seeing the renewed vigor of their opponents, unleashed a fearsome barrage, a last attempt to break the resolve of the human defenders. But the Juggernauts stood firm, their shields now shimmering barriers that deflected the alien weapons. As the sun climbed higher, casting long shadows across the battlefield, the Juggernauts pushed forward, their forms imposing and resolute with each step. They reclaimed ground, forcing the Zoltraxians back, step by step, meter by meter. Helena, witnessing the unfolding scene, felt a surge of pride. The Juggernauts were not just protectors. They were symbols of the indomitable spirit of humanity. And as the defenders rallied around these ancient titans, it became clear that this battle would not just be a victory for Theron Academy. It would be a victory for all of humanity, a reminder that even in the darkest times, they were never truly alone. The relentless push of the Juggernauts began to break the spirit of the Zoltraxian forces. Despite their advanced technology and warrior prowess, the alien invaders were unprepared for the ferocity and resilience of Earth's ancient protectors. The battlefield, once a site of pristine academic pursuit, now bore the scars of this epic confrontation, with craters and debris painting a stark picture of the conflict. In the command center, Helena and her team coordinated the movements of the Juggernauts with military precision, utilizing the Academy's satellite systems to predict enemy movements and strategize counterattacks. Each Juggernaut, linked through a network refined by Eli's enhancements, operated with increased synchronicity, their combined might forming a formidable barrier against the invaders. As the battle intensified, a particular Juggernaut named Guardian Valor, known for its massive shield and defensive capabilities, took the forefront. It moved with purposeful strides towards a cluster of Zoltraxian heavy artillery units. With a thunderous roar, it raised its shield, absorbing a barrage of energy blasts that lit up the morning sky like fireworks. Then, with a swift motion, it swung its other arm, equipped with a high-frequency blade, slicing through the alien machinery with surgical precision. The sight of Guardian Valor's heroics inspired the human defenders. Cheers erupted from the bunkers, where students and faculty sheltered, their voices blending into a chorus of hope and defiance. Among them, a group of engineering students, led by Liza, prepared drone units to provide aerial support. These drones, equipped with cameras and minor offensive capabilities, buzzed into the sky, adding another layer to the Academy's defense. Helena, observing the advancing Juggernauts, felt a mix of awe and fear. These beings, they're more than just machines or relics of the past. She mused aloud. They embody the very essence of our will to survive and protect our own. On the battlefield, the tide turned visibly. The Juggernauts, empowered by the technological enhancements and the strategic support from the Academy, began to herd the Zoltraxian forces towards a central point. This maneuver was part of a larger plan to encircle and incapacitate the enemy, minimizing further damage to the surrounding areas and potentially capturing the Zoltraxian commander. Eli, now back at the command center, monitored the energy levels of the Juggernauts. Power reserves are holding steady, but we should prepare for the possibility of prolonged engagement, he reported. I can reroute some of the tertiary power arrays to give them a boost if needed. Proceed, Helena directed, her eyes never leaving the screens that displayed the ongoing battle. The Zoltraxians, realizing their predicament, launched a desperate counteroffensive. They deployed their elite units, known for their stealth and agility, in an attempt to flank the Juggernauts. But Sentinel Prime, ever vigilant, detected the anomaly in their formation and coordinated with Guardian Valor to adjust their defensive stance. As the two Titans positioned themselves back to back, they created an impenetrable wall of defense, their combined arms laying down a devastating field of suppressive fire and energy blasts. The Zoltraxian elite units, caught in the open, faltered under the intense onslaught. With the enemy in disarray, Helena seized the opportunity to initiate the final phase of her plan. All units, prepare for Operation Steel Curtain, she declared over the Academy's communication network. This is our moment to end this threat once and for all. As the Juggernauts tightened their circle around the remaining Zoltraxian forces, the human defenders readied themselves for what they hoped would be the concluding act of this harrowing battle. With each step the ancient protectors took, the future of Theron Academy and its legacy of resilience and courage was solidified, a testament to the enduring strength of humanity. As the morning sun climbed higher, casting sharp shadows across the battlefield, the human forces at Theron Academy prepared to execute their meticulously planned final maneuver, Operation Steel Curtain. The name itself symbolized the unbreakable barrier they intended to form around the beleaguered Zoltraxian forces, trapping them within a ring of indomitable will and firepower. Helena, from her command center vantage point, watched as the Juggernauts, symbols of Earth's ancient might, converged to form the closing circle of this strategic enclosure. Sentinel Prime, leading the formation, coordinated the movements with an almost sentient understanding of battlefield tactics, its ancient programming meshing seamlessly with Eli's technological enhancements. The Zoltraxians, realizing the gravity of their situation, attempted a last, frantic breakout. Their commander, a towering figure clad in ornate battle armor, led a charge against Guardian Valor, hoping to exploit what he perceived as a weak point in the human defenses. The clash was monumental, the impact echoing across the Eridani Valley, a testament to the desperation and ferocity of the invaders. Guardian Valor, living up to its name, stood firm. Its shield absorbed the brunt of the assault, while its free arm delivered a counterstrike that sent the Zoltraxian commander reeling. The surrounding Juggernauts quickly moved to tighten the noose, their combined arms creating a lethal crossfire that no enemy could hope to survive. Eli, watching the live feed from the drones, adjusted the energy distribution among the Juggernauts to ensure that their shields remained impenetrable. Boosting power to Guardian Valor's shield, he announced, his fingers dancing over the controls. His voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed his intense concentration and the weight of responsibility he felt. Helena, observing the unfolding scene, felt a swell of pride mixed with a poignant sense of the sacrifices being made. This is more than just a battle, she reflected. It's a statement of our resilience, our refusal to be subdued by those who underestimate the spirit of humanity. On the battlefield, the Juggernaut strategy was proving effective. The Zoltraxian forces, now completely encircled, were gradually worn down by the relentless pressure. Their attempts to retaliate were met with the stoic resilience of the ancient defenders, whose armor and shields held against every onslaught. Amidst the chaos, a small team of Academy engineers, led by Liza, deployed a series of EMP charges around the perimeter of the encirclement. These were designed to disrupt the Zoltraxians' energy weapons, further tipping the balance in favor of the human defenders. As the charges were detonated, a series of brilliant flashes temporarily blinded the sensors of the alien weaponry, rendering them ineffective. EMP successful, energy weapons are down, Liza reported, her voice a mix of relief and excitement. The field is clear. With the Zoltraxians' main offensive capabilities neutralized, the Juggernauts moved in for the final phase of the operation. Sentinel Prime, its presence dominating the battlefield, approached the Zoltraxian commander. The alien leader, now isolated and defeated, looked up at the towering figure of Sentinel Prime, his expression one of defiance mixed with awe. "You have fought well," the Zoltraxian commander admitted, his voice resonating through the translator. "Your protectors are formidable." Sentinel Prime, in a rare display of ancient protocol, responded, "We defend this ground, not for conquest, but but for peace. Stand down, and there will be mercy. The commander nodded, dropping his weapon as a sign of surrender. Around him, his troops followed suit. Their will to fight evaporated in the face of the Juggernauts' unyielding strength and the determined resistance of the human defenders. Back at the command center, cheers erupted as the team watched the successful culmination of Operation Steel Curtain. Helena, her eyes moist with a mix of joy and exhaustion, allowed herself a moment to appreciate the magnitude of their victory. Today, we didn't just protect our academy, she declared. We protected our future. Let this be a lesson to all who would threaten us. Humanity will always rise, always defend, always endure. As the first light of dawn spread across the battlefield, casting long shadows over the remnants of the night's fierce combat, a profound sense of relief washed over Theron Academy. The Zoltraxian forces, once a formidable threat, now stood disarmed and defeated, their commander having surrendered under the towering presence of Sentinel Prime and the indomitable circle of Juggernauts. Helena Mirek, standing amidst her colleagues and students in the makeshift command center, felt the weight of the night's events settle around her. The battle had been won, but the victory was tinged with the stark reality of the cost. The academy grounds bore scars that would long remind them of the peril they had faced and overcome. As the Zoltraxian commander was escorted into the command center under heavy guard, Helena prepared herself to face the enemy leader, not just as a victor, but as a representative of humanity's enduring hope for peace. The commander, his demeanor now subdued, met her gaze with an expression of respect. "You have shown us the strength of your resolve, the power of your protectors," he said, his voice carrying a grudging admiration. "What now, Earthling? What fate awaits my people?" Helena stepped forward, her posture resolute yet open. "We seek no vengeance, only security and peace," she responded firmly. "Your people will be treated with fairness under the laws of the Galactic Council. We will negotiate your return in exchange for a treaty of non-aggression." The commander nodded, seemingly relieved by her words. Around them, the gathered crowd of students and faculty listened intently, witnessing the unfolding of a new chapter in human history. In the following days, the academy transformed from a battleground back into a place of learning and innovation. The Juggernauts, their purpose served, returned to their resting places beneath the academy, once again becoming the silent sentinels of a bygone era. Yet, their legacy would live on, not just in the annals of the academy, but in the hearts of all those they had protected. Eli and Liza, along with their fellow students, were instrumental in the recovery efforts, using their skills to repair and rebuild what had been lost. Their work, infused with a newfound sense of purpose, helped to foster a deeper connection between the past and the future. As peace negotiations commenced with the Zoltraxian Empire, Helena often found herself at the site where the Juggernauts lay dormant. The quiet solitude of the ancient chamber served as a reminder of the depth of human creativity and resilience. These beings, crafted from the dual fires of necessity and ingenuity, stood as guardians not just of human lives, but of human spirit. The treaty with the Zoltraxians was eventually signed, heralding a new era of diplomatic relations and coexistence. The commander, once an adversary, became an unlikely advocate for the strength and fairness of Earth's people. Months later, at the Academy's annual commencement, Helena delivered a speech that resonated with the echoes of their recent trials. "We stand here today, not just as survivors, but as bearers of a legacy that dates back to the dawn of humanity. Let us move forward, not in fear, but in the spirit of discovery and understanding. Let the memory of the Juggernauts remind us that we are not just defenders of our own lives, but of the values that define us as humans: courage, compassion, and a relentless pursuit of peace." The graduates, sitting under a sky once again peaceful and unmarred by the shadows of warships, listened, inspired by the lessons of the past and the possibilities of the future. As they dispersed, carrying with them the ideals of Theron Academy, they were not just the next generation of scholars and leaders. They were the keepers of a story that would inspire countless others to believe in the strength of humanity and the unyielding power of hope.